Just a great treat to have you here, Ralph. Thanks for coming.
Pleasure's mine.
Okay, so you guys had some pretty big news coming out this week. Could you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. I mean, we've been working on glasses for quite a number of years, sort of in stealth, and this is the new R8 extremely lightweight glasses that's designed for consumers from its very onset. So it's 4.5 ounces, and it's got the fastest processors in the world, memories, sensors, everything in it. So you can communicate with it, talk to any smartphone, connect to Wi-Fi, you have it all.
So an interesting tidbit that I like about you guys is has to do a little bit with 007. So tell me a little bit about your involvement with James Bond back in the day.
It's a funny one. When I was older, a lot younger, bottom line is the people came to me and said, you make cool stuff, we'd like to have it in the Bond film. So I made, after Thunderball, I made all the underwater vehicles in the Bond films, and I made weapons and miniature devices and all that were used subsequently in the Bond films. And of all the things I've done in my life, those were probably the least real. Everything else I had to do was real, but they loved them, and it is what it is.
So do you think that James Bond would wear a pair of R8s, or do you think he'd wait for a little bit later, wear a version of those?
Yeah, well, the whole thing is you don't want to know what it is at all. So it would be the fantasy of looking like a little pair of sunglasses or wire frames that do all these things, but of course you couldn't put the circuitry or sensors actually in a diminutive pair of glasses. It's just technically not feasible.
Mm-hmm. So you guys have focused a lot on either military use cases or enterprise in the past. How do the design needs differ between enterprise and consumers?
Well, when you're talking about enterprise, they're pragmatic. They have problems. Can you solve our problems, yes or no? Mm-hmm. And so telemaintenance, telepresence, the ability to be able to look at anything and know how to fix it and have all schematics, engineering information available to you anywhere in the world is very good for the world of enterprise. If you're talking about being in sales, you walk into a store and you can recognize all the personnel, and it calls up in your glasses privately who the person is, if they have the opportunity to buy equipment, how much, what's their budget, what's their approval level. All that's very important. And of course, when you're object recognition, you can walk through a store and scan the inventory and do a physical inventory in a matter of a few minutes without touching anything. That's incredibly valuable. Now, when you're talking about the military, it's simple. We face terrorists all over the world. It'd be really, really nice when you have an incident like you've seen happen in Germany and France and Italy and Greece and Turkey. It'd be nice if you could see somebody running and be able to instantly recognize them and capture them with time, date, and location information and share that with authorities to catch the person who's the killer. When the consumer has no interest in those. What they care about is, I want information whenever I want it, anywhere. I want entertainment. I want to have access to my emails, my SMSing, and virtually anything that I want to have to support my needs as a consumer.
So I feel like for, whether it's the personal computer or smartphones, like enterprise use cases generally avail themselves a little bit earlier for these groundbreaking techs than consumers do. What exactly do you need, three-dimensional space around you to, why do you need AR glasses?
Well, a couple of things. We think about where cars are now. The automotive industry is very slow to adopt really groundbreaking technology, but we've already designed glasses for famous car manufacturers, and you're going to see virtually every car manufacturer having AR glasses they offer with their brand on them, because if you can be looking out your windshield and all the information for navigation, incoming messaging, everything, and your ability to talk on a phone without ever taking your eyes off the road is profound. And what they want is that when you get out of your car, you take the experience of that brand with you. So when you buy whatever kind of car it may be, basically those glasses become part of and an extension of the brand and the brand's importance to you in your life.
So I think one thing everyone is thinking about with AR, as small as these are, they're not inconspicuous by any means. So, a lot of people say, well, soon they'll be like eyeglasses. How miniaturized can this tech get in the next few years? Are people setting unreal expectations right away?
Yes, they absolutely are. Let me make this simple. I'll make a standing offer right now. If you can build the electronics and the batteries and the optics into a wireframe pair of glasses, I'll tell you right now, just come and see me. I will happily give you $10 million. You cannot do it. I said recently in an article that question was asked of me, and I said, if you offered me $100 billion with a B, you could not put the electronics and the power source into it. That is hopelessly nonsense. Literally, if you put a nuclear power source inside the frame, wire frame of those glasses, well, let me tell you, you could get enough power there. Of course, it would be turning your head and your brain to fudge from the radioactivity, but you could have enough power. But you actually may want to be able to see and have eyesight long term. You may not want to give up the functionality of your brain by having a radioactive power source. So why don't we just say what's reasonable? Lithium batteries, look at lithium, it's number 3 in the periodic table. Hydrogen, helium, and lithium. It's got lots of electrons and lots of power. Let me give it up. So you're not going to get that. Can you get some things a little smaller? But you got to realize the optics, you got to put them close enough to your head to see. Have you ever noticed VR? The shrouds are not tiny. There's a reason. You've got to get the optics far enough in your head that you can focus on it. So the idea that this is going to become 1/4 this size is a wonderful and charming engineering fantasy.
You think Magic Leap is kind of screwing it up for the rest of people by setting expectations like that?
Look, I don't know Magic Leap. I've never seen their technology and don't know him. But I would tell you this, he certainly has a wonderful turn for phrase that's unmistakable. I hope Magic Leap is a huge success. I want everybody in AR to be a huge success because it's going to be transformative. There's no two ways about it. And if people don't buy into AR, the notion that you can have any information available to you anywhere, you can communicate through Wi-Fi or any wireless means and any phone anywhere, 24/7 and hands-free. If that's not empowering, I don't know what is.
I think it's interesting at CES, the past couple of years, VR has been pretty big. AR is starting to get there a little bit, but still pretty early. But overall, a lot of trends emerge that kind of dictate how tech moves in the year going ahead. As someone who's been in gadgets for decades, why do gadget makers, not necessarily get what consumers want all the time?
Well, I think that we forget some things. Everybody I'm looking at right out here now, lovely people, nice faces, you have a common characteristic. You have sight, smell, hearing, and taste that are all conveniently located in your head. And so if you say your brain is a brilliant analog computer with over 1 trillion neurons in it, you've got to imagine there's a lot of computing power. So if you're going to give somebody some additional capability, you're going to say, I can biometrically monitor their blood pressure, their heart rate, everything, body temperature on their head. I've got all the key senses on their head. Where on earth would you put a computer if not there? I have never seen anybody with eyeballs sticking out of their bottom. It's all up here, so this is where it goes. So the realities are that we're not trying to do something interesting. We're saying, why do you want to burden someone and make them carry something around that is not practical? So the goal is AR, to have any information access anywhere 24/7, to be able to recognize anything and anyone in a beneficial way, and to be able, if someone's injured in your family, to look down and your glasses and the screaming fast computer can show how you do first aid immediately. And while you're doing first aid on your child, guess what? Your glasses are calling the local hospital and seeing if there's a bed and ER available for you, automatically saying the time to get you to medical care. All those things are invaluable.
Is it difficult, because I know you guys are kind of approaching the early adopters with the R8s for sure.
Yeah.
Is it kind of tough, for your brand to approach, the CES crowd is traditionally a little on the nerdier side.
Yeah.
Is it tough to have them kind of be the people carrying your brand in the early days, and are you worried that kind of, identifies you the wrong way a little bit?
Well, let's put it this way. The people here, let's say, are more tech savvy and more tech interested. But if you've ever flown on a plane and sat there and stared at that dinky little monitor in the back of a seat that costs the company who makes it $10,000 for a crappy little screen, and when you want to lay down in your chair or lean back, and now you this way, and you can't see your screen, anybody that thinks that's fun, I can't help you. If you think the idea that I can put these glasses on, and I'm now looking at a 90-inch flat screen, equivalent of 10 feet away in my apartment or house, and you can turn sideways and watch it, if you think that's a bad idea, I can't help you. But if you want complete privacy, a huge screen experience in any conditions that adjusts for any lighting condition, you think that's a bad idea, I can't help you.
One thing I always think about when I think of AR catching on are Bluetooth headsets and how, the early adopters of those were like, are you kidding me? These are so useful. They're, a lot of people look at pieces of technology and don't really see the use cases, but they're pretty apparent there. It was just the social kind of stigma surrounding them that kind of messed them up a bit. That seems like something that AR is going to have to face, tenfold.
Well, one, if you looked at the Bluetooth that fit in your ear, it looked like a high-tech earwax catcher. And that kind of went away because it wasn't very charming. I think when people put on a pair of glasses like this, and they don't have to have earbuds, because I'd show of hands, how many people here think earbuds really feel great? If you have a choice, you'd rather wear earbuds even to bed because they're so charming and comfy. Mm-hmm. I can't help you. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter, there isn't any earbuds here. The sound comes out of here directed to your ears. If you look at my little ears here, notice that they're directed to pull sound in this way. When you hear something here, you turn your head. So if I have sound coming out of here directed to my ears, and I hear it perfectly, but other people don't, and I don't have to have everything stuck in my ears, I can have the joy of great sound and privacy without annoying anybody. Mm-hmm. There are lovely little things we can do that solves interesting problems all the time.
So wearables overall, and smartwatches have kind of had a little bit of a tough year, and I know wearables, in the past couple years have always been something people pay attention to. Are you bullish on wearables overall?
Look, I've got $80,000 watches that my wife gave me that are beautiful. Mm-hmm. Why am I wearing this? That has something beyond telling the time that's magic. Without being disruptive and fishing around in my pocket and being rude in front of someone that's talking with me, I can see who's calling.
Sure.
That's a beautiful thing. So I think messaging, instant messaging is invaluable. Do I think you're going to see high-speed computing by dinking with the screen? No.
Yeah.
So wearables have their place. But if you look at it this way, if you want to say what it can do and it does for fitness, this is on my head. It senses my body heat. It senses my heart rate. Mm-hmm. It senses my blood pressure. If it can do all of those and my cadence when I'm running, the distance I've ran, my ETA and how I'm doing against my normal fitness regimen, it does it all. And oh, by the way, while I'm running, riding my bike, riding a motorcycle, or anything, hiking, I never am lost because I know where I am anywhere in the world within an error of 1 foot. Anywhere in the world, I won't get lost. And I can have access to any information I want anywhere. And those people who think spending $60,000 a year to put your kid through the best school is fun, I can't help you. But if you say I can put on a pair of glasses and I can learn all the rote material and I can access every bit of academic course material that I want on my head when it's convenient for me, if that's not a big idea, I should be put to sleep.
I think one thing that people struggle with in AR is this kind of air of inevitability it has, where no one can really think of something that comes after the smartphone other than AR right now. Is that inevitability a little dangerous? And
No.
can it make you feel like, well, it's going to happen anyway, regardless of what the companies are doing in this space right now? So,
Let's say this another way. What's inevitable is head worn. You cannot stop it. Because all the computing and all the action in your body, cut your head off, nothing works. So if you know all the processing and all the great stuff is happening here, and you say, if I put augmented reality on there, I can not look at anything if I want, I can see where I'm going, and I can have access to unlimited information when I want, and I can monitor all my biological functions. And if I have a heart attack or anything else, literally, my device can tell people how to perform CPR on me, literally. I mean, there's so many things that can change in your life. It's not going to turn you into a geek. Look, what do people wear? 99% of people wear either cat eye or aviator sunglasses. Why? Because they look nice on people. So our threat is to make them as small as we can, but do things that are powerful. And more than anything else, it's the availability of information 24/7 in any field, anything you're interested in, including any reading material or entertainment anywhere, anytime. If that's not of value, then I'd say head-worn makes no sense.
I mean, you're not alone in this. I mean, there are a lot of other companies trying to make these same arguments. What makes you a better sell than what's happening from Meta or Magic Leap or Microsoft?
Look, I make this routinely. I'm in Silicon Valley, and there's probably 50 to 100,000 people that have got 20 or 30 IQ points on me within a matter of 10 or 15 miles from where my offices are. I'd say this. As you can tell, I'm not a teenager. I've been working on head-worn for 34 years. So I built night vision goggles used by 27 countries in the world. They needed to be lightweight and small. And it's very depressing if you're a soldier operating in pitch black and you have no idea where you are or what the threat is around you. Computers, I was in scuba diving for 20 years and made masks with all the electronics, give you depth, bottom time, surface interval, tank pressure, everything, including navigation built into a mask. And I've done that for 37 years. So understanding, putting things on your head and the advantage to give you aided sight, accessibility to information, and to let you always know where you are and to enhance your safety. If you say, I like risk, I don't really care if I know where I am, I'll jump off the cliff and worry about the details later when I get closer to the ground, can't help you. But if you want to be knowledgeable and safer and enhanced and being able to learn faster than other people and know anything you're looking at, if that's not fun, can't help you.
Yeah, so back to Microsoft. Back in 2014, you guys offloaded a bunch of patents to them for a bunch of money. Are you guys kind of kicking yourselves a little bit, given
Not
that
at
they're
all.
now a competitor?
No. Look, Microsoft's a great company. I use their software every day. Microsoft Office, love them. Mm-hmm. Know lots of people in Microsoft that are wonderful people. I heard all these things about Bill Gates and spent half an hour with him. Couldn't have been nicer. Smart as hell, charming, insightful. I'm glad I did it with Microsoft. What I did is I sold them patents and patent applications that, in the process of evolving and making more sophisticated designs, were great then. Mm-hmm. And I think we knew there was even a more sophisticated way to do things. So what I did is I sold them an evolution in time. They were happy. They didn't buy know-how from us, and they didn't buy any employees. Mm-hmm. So I was happy to accommodate them, and we moved on. And I think what we've done since is substantially more sophisticated.
All right, sounds good.
But they're a great company.
Okay, good to hear. Well, thanks for coming on and showing us your stuff and talking a little bit about AR.
Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks, Ralph.